times. So because I was telling you before the show started tonight that I quit my job and I got a new job and I work from home now, and I'm in training working from home, so I've been able to catch up on Raw because it's available on, it streams on Netflix, and then I can watch it the next day. So I watched it on Tuesday. I watched the entire broadcast for the first time in years, and instead of just clips on Raw. I had seen the clips actually before I saw the full broadcast, so it's part of the reason that made me want to watch it in the first place. Paul Heyman, as the kids say, crashing out on Jey Uso was all over TikTok. Like it's like the same thing with John Cena's initial heel promo. As soon as it happened, it got cut and immediately made into a caption on TikTok that everybody is now using as a sound. It's fucking hilarious. My favorite ones are the ones that go, my toxic ex. And it's just like, I'm always the asshole. I'm always the liar. Not this time. I'm right. Like, there's so many people using that to talk about like ex-girlfriends or boyfriends or, toxic mothers. What a time we live in, Harry. What a time we live in. But enough about my obsession with TikTok. That is, I have to tell you, and we're going to talk about the Becky Lynch promo in a little bit, but let's stay focused on Paul. If nothing else, the promo work on Raw over the last 6 months has been some of the best I've seen in wrestling in years. Like, one banger after another.
No, I agree. I think a lot of it has to do with more creative freedom being involved as well, now that the dictator who shall not be named is no longer involved. I think that you're starting to see more and more people get an opportunity to be comfortable in who they are as their respective characters. You saw Drew killing it with his social media troll turned to real life troll stuff that he's doing. Mm-hmm. Punk has been killing it since his return to the company. Seth has been doing some of the best promo work of his career, and the stuff with Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn last week on Raw was phenomenal as well.
Oh, absolutely. Even the Logan Paul promo where he
Logan's an underrated talker.
Yeah, I like Logan more as a talker than I do as a wrestler. But staying with Paul, just to back up your point, and then I'll move on with Paul. The style of promo was always, it's going as far back as to when they first started doing televised promos to sell matches. Here are your bullet points. Put the match over. Tell people, where the match is going to be so that we can sell tickets to this thing. It's the whole point of a promo in the first place. Here, tell them what the match is. Here's why you're fighting. Here's your motivation. Go talk. And then Ric Flair goes out there and says, my watch costs more than your fucking house, or whatever the hell he said. Dusty, here's put over the match. Here's your bullet points. And he goes out there and does hard times. For years, that's the way the WWE operated. Hulk Hogan would go out there. The Warrior's promos were unintelligible, but Savage would go out there. Everybody would go out there with a handful of ideas in their head of what it was they were supposed to get across, and they just filled in the blanks. And then we went into this era of
the script writer,
the entirely scripted promo, because Vince couldn't get out of this idea of we're shooting movies, pal. And some guys who are not extemporaneous speakers, and I don't know if you know this or not, Harry, you may have heard this about me. It's well known, but maybe you haven't heard. I do a podcast that requires a certain degree of extemporaneous speaking. And some people are great at this, and some people need a little help. So some people, as it's been said, liked the scripted promo. Other people really struggled with it. And now you're going to see like the best extemporaneous speakers really rise to the top. And boy, who better than Canyon? Also, who better than Paul Heyman in the extemporaneous speaking department? Because every time he opens his mouth, he says something that is believable, genuine, and genius, as was this promo against Jey Uso tonight on Monday.
I think the thing with Paul Heyman, and obviously we'll need to move on here shortly, but I think the thing with Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman grew up as a wrestling fan in the pro wrestling business, not in the sports entertainment business. So Paul Heyman still views this the way of the old school style of pro wrestling, that your job literally as a manager, as a wrestler, as a valet, as whatever it is to talk people into the building, to get them to buy tickets, to get them to pay to see TV, to pay to come to live events, to get them to pay to watch the pay-per-views, or to get them to put down the money for a Netflix subscription or for a cable subscription to watch USA Network in order to see SmackDown. Paul Heyman is a master of the money promo. He talks about this when he did his Inside the Ropes interview. He has a conversation. I don't know if you remember the Invasion conversation that he has where he just rips Vince apart at the end of the Invasion right before Survivor Series.
Dude, my children, especially my daughter is a musical theater kid, and she's had to do auditions. And so I've sat with her and I taught her the art of the monologue and the monologue for audition. And I said, if you want to know how to do it right, and I've shown her the night before Survivor Series SmackDown promo. It's genius. It's one of the best promos in the history of wrestling. People love to talk about the pipe bomb. Paul Heyman's speech against Vince was so much better.
And Heyman's asked the story about how that came to be. Heyman says that Vince came up to him and said, "I'm going to give you the microphone. I want you to clear your mind." It's and Heyman looks at him.
Air your grievances is the phrase that was used.
And Heyman says, "Are you sure?" And then
make me money, pal.
And the Michael Hayes comment there, "You want a new asshole? Paul E will rip it yay fucking wide."
Yeah. What you're talking about there, and it links to this promo with Jey Uso. The genius of Paul Heyman is taking a kernel of truth and just expanding on it, or expounding. The night before Survivor Series, he really was airing his grievances about how he felt like, and God, I know how he feels, that you have this really special genius, avant-garde, ahead of the curve thing, and somebody who has better resources and better marketers takes it and makes it $1 million idea, and you're left standing in the curb with your pockets hanging out going, but that was mine. And it's well, you're sorry, all's fair in love and capitalism. I've been there. This promo with Jey Uso cut from the same cloth, because Jey Uso starts with, "After what you did to my family." And the reason why this promo was so good was because you could truly believe Paul Heyman reacting that way. Are you fucking kidding me? When Roman Reigns came back after,
didn't you turn your back on Roman before I did?
When Roman Reigns came back from, I think it was cancer, he wasn't a main eventer. He was kind of irrelevant, and it's because of Paul Heyman he became the tribal chief and was the WWE champion for 4 years or some shit. Paul Heyman's what do you think he did that on his own? You ungrateful pieces of shit. It's great. And so Paul Heyman, and because also Paul Heyman has had to sit through years of ECW guys coming out and saying Paulie tricked them, Paulie lied to them. I mean, my God, guys going on podcasts, fucking Jerry Lawler saying that shit, Bruce
Pritchard.
Thank you. Every other Bruce in the world came to my head. Pritchard, Eric Bischoff, who also struggles with. I love you. Also struggles with the truth. And all of these guys have painted Jim Cornette. All of these people have painted Paul Heyman as the devil. And he's just carried it for years. And then there's this punk ass dumbass, saying, "You betrayed my family," and he fucking snaps. He snapped, and that's why he's saying, that's the context of that. That's why he's saying I'm always the liar. I'm always the cheat. I'm always the scumbag. Not this time. I'm in the right. I didn't do anything wrong here. I wanted to walk to the ring with my friend, and your asshole cousin shoves me to the ground. Your asshole cousin who left me to fend for myself against Jacob Vatu and the Tongans who put me through a table. Go fuck yourself, pal. And I'm Paul.
Well, too, the other thing as well, him calling out Jay about him, saying when Jay said that he had turned against his family, and Heyman looking at him and basically calling his bluff, didn't you turn against Roman first, jackass?
Right. Yeah, the best promos always come from a place of truth, and I know you want to move on, and I want to talk about Becky Lynch, but that was another number one with a bullet for me. What a great promo!